Down payment assistance options are great, especially for marketing, but they may not be that great actually for you. Here's the truth about down payment assistance programs that no lender out there really decides for me to tell you. First off, every single mortgage lender everywhere has some sort of down payment assistance option available to them. And if they are online bragging about how they have this once in a lifetime amazing down payment assistance 0% down option available exclusively to them, they're just promoting the same thing that everybody else already has access to. I tried some blackhead removal cream thing and it left me scarred. It's not a pimple. Secondly, the promise that a down payment assistance program will allow you to spend absolutely no money during the loan process is a complete and utter lie. For starters, in 99% of all real estate transactions, there is some sort of deposit that you, as the buyer, will be expected to make. Most of the time, this is 1% of the actual purchase price amount, but it can be negotiable. Regardless, in order to have a seller take your offer serious, you have to be willing to provide some sort of deposit, some sort of skin in the game to show that you are, in fact, a legitimate good buyer and are a buyer that is willing to be trusted by the seller to take up the next month or so of their time. Along with just that deposit, there are many other upfront costs associated with the home buying process. These can include, but are not limited to, ordering and paying for your appraisal, ordering some kind of engineer certificate if the property requires it, and so on and so forth. Most all down payment assistance programs will only cover and credit you the amount of the down payment at the actual time of closing. For all upfront and prepaid closing costs, you will be responsible for getting that taken care of prior to actually reaching the closing table. Plus, you're going to need some money in your hand prior to actually going under contract. To extend upon that, most all down payment assistance programs will only cover the actual down payment portion of your actual cash to close. That does not include any and all closing costs, which is an entirely separate form of costs that are associated with the real estate transaction. These involve your title fees and all upfront escrow fees, as well as a whole lot more of other fees that are associated with buying a house. Most all social media realtors will happily promote that they can take care of getting all of your closing costs covered guaranteed. And whereas that could be true, it's not a guaranteed. It will require negotiations between your side of the transaction as well as the seller side to come up with a mutual agreement on what we call seller concessions, otherwise known as how much of your closing costs will the seller cover out of their own pocket. Lastly, let's consider the obvious downside of borrowing that down payment money. Any bank that offers some sort of assistance for your down payment is taking on a legitimately more riskier loan from their perspective. Considering this, you can all but guarantee that your actual interest rate options will be substantially higher than if you chose not to utilize a down payment assistance program when shopping different rates. The rate difference alone can add substantially to your estimated monthly payment, and that doesn't consider the great probability that you are actually probably getting a secondary lien or a secondary small loan to help cover your down payment portion of the cash to close. The majority of secondary liens require an extra added expense that is added on to your monthly payment, whereas there are a few options that are forgivable second lien options, which means after 10 or so years, you don't have to worry about paying it back. However, that forgivable second lien option comes with even higher interest rates than if you are just adding a secondary payment to your current normal monthly payment. To summarize it as simply as possible, yeah, you're going to save about $10,000 or so by not having to pay a down payment up front, but your monthly payment's going to increase by $200-$300 than if you didn't need it. That's why I always tell my clients, if you absolutely need a down payment assistance program to get you into a house, then by all means utilize it. You can always refinance later and get you a better rate and get you better terms. However, if you do not necessarily need any assistance to cover your down payment, and you are instead utilizing these programs for just some comfortability and avoiding biting the bullet on an actual down payment amount, I would highly recommend that you consider just biting the bullet and paying your down payment amount because it'll benefit you long term in terms of monthly payment spending. If you're craving some more home buying truth, follow me.